Mindset Monday. I think that's what I'm going to start calling these videos, and I'm going to do them every single Monday. And in today's video, I want to talk about desperate times and basically some businesses not being worth the effort and the time. Firstly, let's tackle desperate times. We all go through them in our own way, in all kinds of levels, from the most basic desperate times to the most hectic of times. Like when I say the most basic, it may not be basic to you, but it was a little bit basic to me when I experienced it. And this would be a point where I've paid my rent and I was renting a one room apartment, if I can call it an apartment, but it's just a one room. The toilet is outside. For those who live in Africa or South Africa, understand what I'm saying. But if you are listening to this or watching this outside of Africa, it's basically just renting a room without a toilet, a kitchen, nothing of that sort. And in those times, I'll be finding myself able to pay the rent for that one room, but then now I don't have the money to buy food, to buy groceries to feed myself for the rest of the month because the money has actually ended. And at that time, as low as I was socioeconomically, to me that was a sort of an upgrade. For me that was sort of an upgrade, but it was also me living beyond my means. So at the end of the month, after paying that rent, the money has also ended. Now there's a lot of month that I have to go through trying to feed myself and then thinking about the next month end. And in times like that, and this happened over and over as I upgraded my life a little bit, bit by bit over years, I will almost always find myself in that situation where it's really desperate, and I almost want to get myself into things that will put me into trouble just so that I can pay the bills. And there might be someone out there who's watching this video, and you are probably that person who's going through a situation that seems as if it might force you to do things that you don't really want to do, but you think you have to do them because you have bills to pay. And maybe you have a child. I myself now have a child, and I think we'll actually have a child on the way. But I see it as me having a child already. This is going to be in 2 months, and I look at this, thinking to myself that okay, if this child is coming through, and what is going to happen when I have to feed this child and I'm unfortunately unable to do that in the moment? Am I going to get myself into trouble, or potentially get myself into trouble, to ensure that they don't get hungry? They never experience being hungry and there's no food. So thinking of that is that okay, cool, I've been through my rough times, I've been through my hard times, and as experienced as I am in going through the hard times, I've learned enough to not have myself going through the hard times. And I am also willing to make sacrifices to downgrade my lifestyle so that things can be a bit more seamless, so that I can get back on my feet, because I'm very experienced in going rock bottom and picking myself up from rock bottom, and just as I almost slip out of rock bottom, back into rock bottom and getting out again. So when desperate times come now, I have this mindset that it's just a season and it is going to pass. And this is something that I want to share with you and instill with you, that every bad situation, every bad season that you go through is just a season. It's not the entirety of your life. It is going to pass. And with it going to pass, just know that when it passes and you've experienced it and you've learned as much as you possibly could, then it coming back, if it does come back, you will know how to deal with it. But when you are in a desperate situation, in a desperate time, you find yourself trying to get yourself into hustles, some hustles that are just not worth the effort. And this is what I want to say when it comes to some businesses are just not worth the effort. And let me firstly talk to people in Africa and South Africa. Everyone now wants to work from home because it's the new buzz, or it's the new in thing, working from home and making a living from home. But when it comes to making a living from home, actually, this is not just for Africans. This is for everyone globally. Because I do see videos online of people saying they'll teach you how to make money online with things that don't require experience. I've even seen a video of people talking about Google certification, and you make $100K in dollars a year, which is all really just bullshit. it's all really just bullshit. There's so many things that are just not worth your time when it comes to building up yourself. You see, things like Bitcoin, I myself will invest in Bitcoin, but not now. Right now, I don't have the means to actually invest in Bitcoin. I have to invest in something that I have control over, and that is the business of me, and that is my business and any other business that I invest in. So this is to you to say, look, if it seems like something that is risky, seems like something that you may have zero control over, then you most likely will do better if you don't go into that certain investment. And this is not to say that if you start a business, for example, you have control over everything. You have control over what your business looks like, you have control over your marketing, and you have control over your sales and how you do sales and close those sales, but you don't have control over the market or over the global economical situation. So if we go into a recession, you don't have control over the recession. However, you do have some level of control within your business. And when it comes to things that you have to invest in and you allow them to just do the work for you, like Bitcoin and index investments and foreign exchange, which I also did try, and I realized that it's more like glorified gambling, and I'm not really a fan. So in your desperate times, don't go into businesses that are just not worth the effort, because you might regret it. And the problem about going into things that are not worth the effort and you fail in them, you possibly risk taking the mindset of that failure into something else. Because if you could fail once and give up on one thing once, it is easy for you to give up on another thing, which is something that I'm also very experienced in. I've started many businesses, I've started many hustles, and I've made a lot of money, I've made no money in some of them, and I've quit a lot of them. And it almost became a trend. And this is not a trend that I want you to have. This is not a mindset that I want you to have. And I'm also slowly letting it go. And as I go with life and as I go with business, this is becoming long-winded, but as I go with life and I experience life more and more, I realize that it's getting better. And learn from me, learn from other people. Don't get into things that will possibly get you into trouble, and don't start businesses that you don't understand and invest in things you don't understand because you are desperate, and you might find that they're not worth the investment. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, share it with somebody, it might help them, and I will see you in the next one.